Mark, chapter 11, verse 24. Therefore I say unto you, what things soever the desire, when the pray, believe that they receive them, and they shall have them. Brothers and sisters, this verse is one of the most powerful promises Jesus ever gave his disciples. It is a verse that speaks directly to the heart of prayer, faith, and trust in God. When Jesus spoke these words, he had just demonstrated the authority of faith by cursing the fig tree, and the disciples were astonished at how quickly it withered. But Jesus used that moment to teach them and us that faith is not about empty words, but about believing in the God who makes the impossible possible. Notice what he says, what things soever the desire, when they pray, believe that they receive them, and they shall have them. This is not a casual suggestion. It is a call to pray with confidence, to approach God not with doubt, but with assurance that he hears and answers. Now, let's be clear. This is not a blank check for selfish desires. The heart of this promise is rooted in alignment with God's will. When our desires are shaped by his word, when our prayers are guided by his Spirit, then we can pray boldly, knowing that he delights to answer. Matthew Henry reminds us that true faith does wonders in spiritual things. Faith justifies us, removing the mountains of guilt that weigh us down. Faith purifies the heart, tearing down the mountains of corruption that try to control us. And faith makes the way plain before the grace of God. That is why Jesus tells us to believe when we pray, because faith connects us to the power of God. Barnes points out that the phrase "have faith in God" literally means have the faith of God. In other words, we are called to trust him with a confidence that he can do what seems impossible. Just as the fig tree withered at his word, so too can the mountains in our lives, mountains of fear, mountains of sin, mountains of despair, be cast aside when we pray in faith. Ellicott notes that this promise is specific. Jesus doesn't speak in vague terms. He says plainly, believe that you receive and you shall have it. That is the kind of certainty he wants us to carry into prayer. But here is the key. Faith is not about manipulating God to do our will. Faith is about trusting God to do his will in our lives. Sometimes the answer comes quickly. Sometimes it comes in ways we do not expect. And sometimes God's answer is to wait, because he is shaping us, preparing us, and aligning us with his greater plan. Think about this. Every time you pray, you are stepping into the throne room of the Almighty. You are speaking to the one who created the heavens and the earth, the one who holds all power in his hands. And he invites you to come boldly, to ask, to believe, and to receive. So what does this mean for us today? It means we should not pray timid prayers. We should not come before God with hesitation as though he is unwilling to hear us. Instead, we should pray with faith, knowing that he is a loving Father who delights to give good gifts to his children. It also means that prayer is not just about asking for things, it is about transformation. When we pray in faith, God changes us. He strengthens us. He removes the mountains of guilt, shame, and fear, and replaces them with peace, joy, and hope. Friends, let me encourage you. Whatever burden you are carrying today, bring it to God in prayer. Whatever mountain stands in your way, speak to it in faith. Believe that God is able, and trust that he will answer according to his perfect will. Mark 11:24 is not just a verse to memorize, it is a promise to live by. Pray with faith, believe with confidence, and watch as God moves in your life in ways you never imagined.